Hi there everyone, Anna Ginter here. I'm going to go through the explanation of how to set up a lesson and get it moving smoothly for you and your students. So I've got a lesson in the template folder and let's get set it up. So much like the assignment, it's got a place for an explanation of what it is. We'll just call it template. We'll turn on the display so it has something on the cover page. The appearance. We want to give our students something to, like a finish line to look forward to. So that's what our progress bar is, tells them how far through the lesson they are. We want to give them a menu. That way they can move through the lesson. If for some reason we were to not have one of the pages working properly, we are humans. And we do make mistakes, so we give them a menu. That way they can move on to the next page in case there's a problem with the page. Show more. If you want to have an image that works with your lesson, maybe you like something to go with it, you can put that there. I don't give them their ongoing score. They'll get a grade at the end, but you can if you want. If you only want them to have the menu if they reach a certain score, you can do that as well. That's available here. The maximum number of answers. This is, and once you click the show more, you can see this. The maximum number of answers. Keep that in mind if you want to do matching, the matching choice for questions. So sometimes there's, 10 to 15 items that you want to match with answers. This is great for, like science, plumbing. I don't know if you're matching parts to fittings, in my case, and they're identifying names. Sometimes I'll turn this up to, 10, 15 and enter them in because this is automatically graded. It makes my life easier. But for now, I'll leave it at 4. Default feedback now. I don't like to tell them yay every time. The link to the next activity. You can link it to another assignment right after they're done. It'll send them right to it. So that's the parents tab. Availability. This is just like before. If you don't want it to start till Monday, you turn that on. Deadline, when it's due. We can give them a deadline and when it's due. We can set a time limit. This is really important, guys. Some of our students are working from their mobile phone. Turn this on. Please turn this on. Set it so that it can be used on a mobile app. If it's enabled, it allows them to download the lesson and work offline. It doesn't work if you set up a time limit though. So make sure the time limit's 0 and turn this on, please. Let our students who are working from their phones be able to use lessons. It's very important you do that. Flow control. Allow a student to review. I have found some students, if you look at their history, they do review their lessons. Especially if you have an assignment later to do a quiz or something, they'll go back and review the videos and review the things in lessons. So do allow them to review it. I do also allow them to try a question again. Now, if you're going to let them try a question again, you need to have it set to like 2 or 3. If there's only 4 choices of answers, I wouldn't give them 4 attempts. Maybe 2. The action after a correct answer. Usually you set those later, but follow the lesson is usually the choice you want. So that's the flow through the lesson. Here comes that grade thing again. I run an 100-point grade system. I have categories set up, and I'll get to that when I go through the grade book. So I'm going to put this under lessons because that's my category I've selected. This is dual credit, so they need a 7 to pass. It is not a practice. This is a real lesson. I do allow retakes. Now, because retakes are allowed, you have to, and I'm custom scoring it. It is custom scored, so you guys are in control of the grade, so you get to assign a point for each question. Some are worth more than others, Well, how are you going to handle the retakes? Do you want to use the mean grade, or do you want to use the maximum? I go for the maximum. Sometimes students don't do as good the second time they take a test, or even a lesson. This is a lesson in this case. So I use the maximum grade. I leave the minimum number of questions alone. I'm never going to have no questions. Common module settings, I don't really mess with. There's nothing there. Restrict access. You guys know that's if you have to set anything special for 504, so on and so forth. Activity completion, here's that important one, guys. We don't want them marking it manually. We want to show the activity is complete when conditions are met. For lessons, I only check one. Students must reach the end of the lesson page to complete this activity. This is really important. I'll explain to you why later. I don't mark it that the students must receive a grade to complete this activity. It grades itself. Once they reach the last page, it's kind of redundant to check too. So if you have them doing certain activities for an amount of time, you can check that, but I wouldn't. They've got to reach the last page, complete it. Tags, you're pulling in tags, not tagging this to go anywhere. And companies, this is where your TEKS would come in if you're setting it up. That's more for when we're in school and being more meticulous on that. All right, we're gonna save it and save and display. So, got it all set up. It's pretty blank here. There's nothing here. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a content page. We need something to work with. We'll call this video 1. And this is where you're gonna put your video, okay guys? But we gotta figure out where it's gonna go from here. So it's gonna go to question 1. So this is what would cause students to get stuck on a page right here if it got set to this page. So we want it to go to next page, obviously. But so first we got to get a video in here because that's usually what our content is. It's a video, it's a word, it's a image, it's information. You can type information in here, but you do your drop down arrow, and we've got insert or edit image, we've got audio video file, we've got links, and those are all great things here. But what we really want to do is once we do this drop down here, and it's really important you do that first. So do your drop down, get your cursor in here, and I'm going to bring up a link bar. So now that we've got a link box, I'm going to go over here and let's see, gradebook navigation sounds like a good one. Let's see, the shareable link. Yeah, the shareable link. I'm going to put my shareable link into the box. And I'm going to create the link. So I've got a link in here. Sounds like you're done right. Not really. So one of the big things with lessons is these kids, having more windows and stuff can get them really confused. So this little 2 arrows and a slash embeds the link. It turns it multicolors. Looks like you made a mess. It's okay. Embed that link so it plays right on the same window and hit save page. So we've got content. So next thing, we're going to add a question. Let's go for a true false. Sure, easy one first. We're going to hit add question page. And we'll just call it Q1. And the sky is falling. And the answer is false. And yay. Obviously, I wouldn't tell a student yay. And with a correct answer, they're going to get to go on to the next page. And say we think this is a 5-point question. You can type in whatever value you give it. And the wrong response is true. And I wouldn't give this response to a student, but boo. And so this is where it can become a mess if you leave it onto this page. We want them to go back to video 1 because they're going to go back and study the video and understand that what they need to learn. And we're going to hit save page. All right, we're going to add a new page, question page. And we'll do multi-choice. This one's a little more complicated, but it's okay. So let's see. Q2. What color is the sky? And the correct answer is, it is blue. And we're going to tell them yay. And they get to go to the next page. We think this is a 5-point question as well. And it tells you answer 1 is, and you can see this is the correct answer because it's the one you're giving them points for. If you want to move it around, it will scramble your answers, just so you know. So the next answer is, make sure you're only capitalizing if you're capitalizing them all. Don't want to give them any hints. And this is a boo. And we don't want just to go back to video 1 and 0 points. And if you wanted the wrong answers to be worth 1 point, you could. So the next question, the next answer, I'm going to tell them it's pink. And that's a boo. And that's going to go on to video 1. And answer 4, it is yellow. And like I said, make sure you're only capitalizing them. If you capitalize them all, then we're giving hints. And it's going back to video 1 as well. So we have a question 2. So we're going to add a new page, question page. We're going to go right into the matching, which I told you guys about. Okay, internet. Pretty sure I clicked that. All right. Q3. So match to the first letter. All right, so in the box you'd give the students directions. It gives you a space here to write the correct response. So if their correct response is going to be, as we did before, A, they're going to go to the next page. And if they get them all right, so this is matching. They've got, we set it up and we had 4 choices. So it could be worth 20 points. And their wrong response, we were giving them boo earlier. So let's give them boo again. And so let's say I don't remember to set this one. We'll leave this as this page. We're going to do it completely wrong. So I'm going to close my responses because it makes the page really long. So matching pair 1, let's start with car. Matches with answer C. Matching pair 2, boy. Matches with B. Matching pair 3, let's see. Tiger. I'm just going up with random words, guys. Matches. House. And H. So we've got some letters to match with pairs. So we've made a matching pair. We're going to save page. So I've done that one completely wrong, unintentional. We'll get to that. So we've got true, false, multi-choice, matching. So is that a question page? So we've done matching, multi-choice, and true, false. There's short answer, and there's essay. So let's go check out that essay. So this is one of my favorites, believe it or not. I'm a plumbing instructor. My kids don't write a lot. So there's nothing here. There's not a whole lot to it. So this is Q4. And I'm going to tell my students, upload a photo of your, what was it, a grade, your floor plan. I'm working on floor plans. So, yeah, okay. Thank you, computer. So upload a picture of your float plans. So, and it's going to jump to the next page. And this is worth, 20 points as well. So what they can do here is, instead of just being an essay that they could type in, they could write their assignment. You could give them a typed out, you can go through here and you could type out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and write out a few things, and then they could be, required to type in, because they'll get a blank. This is what you're typing. This isn't where they're typing. This is your instructions. They're going to get a blank box of their own where they can upload a photo, a video clip of their assignment in a similar box. So this is a no bounds question. They're not limited to what the constraints are of a regular question. So this one is kind of you can give them a little more free reign. They could write it on paper and upload a picture of their paper. This is a very, very free reigns kind of question. I like this a lot. So we'll save that page. So we have 4 questions here. The short answer one is very similar. I'm not going to go into that. It's pretty much the same thing. They write a short answer and you give them a prompt. So we have these questions here, and it's a really great start. But there's one thing left. Remember I mentioned that they've got to finish the lesson. So here is the big and important thing. Now, if we had multiple videos, before I get to that, I would put an end of, so you've got a couple things here. I would put an end of cluster here to let them know that that's the end of video 1's questions. And then I would do this again and put video 2 and then some more questions, just to let them know you finished section like video 1's questions. We're going on to a new subject, a new little branch. And I would just say, the end of video 1. But the last page we're going to enter before we do some editing is an end of cluster. Okay? So this is your most important thing here. So now that we've got all our pages, I'm going to teach you how to do some editing. The first editing we're going to do is your most important editing of all. You're going to go to the skier, and this is how we edit anything. Update page, end of cluster. This is your most important editing of all. Change the name. Always change this name. We need to call this finish page. Absolutely, you must. Tell the students something good. You finished the lesson. And I mean, this is as simple as you don't have to say woohoo, yay, yippee skippy. You finished the lesson. That's sufficient. But this needs to say finish page. The end. Completion page. Something so they know they're done, that this is the page they must achieve to finish and submit the lesson for grading. Because if they don't get here, the system will not grade it, and it will not go through the grading system, and they can get all the way through the questions and they're not done. They won't grade it, and they can think they're done and they're not going to get a grade. So the last step is to go here and change the next page to end of lesson. This is totally important. It's got to jump to end of lesson. And then you hit save. So the importance of that is when your student goes through and they get to the finish and it jumps to the end of the lesson, they're done and it grades. They've got to see that finish and it goes to the end of the lesson and grades. You can have another content down here that reviews it for them, but the good chance is they're going to skip it. But if they see this finish page and you've given them some kind of heads up in writing somewhere, or let them know in an announcement that if they don't click on the finish page, it doesn't grade it, they're going to click on the finish page. I've had some instances where students didn't go all the way to the end of the lesson and it didn't grade, but I could see in their progress that they had completed all the questions, gone through the videos, but once they got to the last one, hit submit on the question, they didn't click on that last page and it didn't grade. This is a trial and error learning thing for me, so I've labeled it clearly and let them know that if they don't click on that finish page, it doesn't grade. So here's where the other changes come in. Video 1 doesn't have any direction to it. This is going to hurt your students. So Q1, it says next page and back to video 1. Q2 bumps them back to video 1, then it goes on to the next page. It's okay to leave them to go to the next page, but you can actually direct them to go to the following questions. But this one is the one that's going to hurt you the most. Because if a student right here messes up on Q3 and goes all the way back to video 1, he's going to go all the way back through all these questions to get back to Q4. So let's go back up to our settings on our video. We've got 4 questions. Let's give him some choices. If he messes up on the 3rd question, you might want to be able to get back to that 3rd question. So let's give him an option 2. C, you can always copy our text, make it quicker. Paste, paste, and just change our numbers. 2, 3, and then we'll choose where they're going. It's going to go to question 1, it's going to go to question 2, and it's going to go to question 3. So now he can jump to question 1, jump to question 2, and jump to question 3 if he messes up. And we'll hit save. That's a courtesy. Now he doesn't have to go back and forth and back all the way through the questions if he wants to go back to it, because you've told him if he makes a wrong answer, it's going to boot him back. Now, we can see we made a mistake here as well. Correct answer goes to the next page. The wrong answer stays and loops and loops and loops. We got to fix that. It's as easy as coming back in here and clicking on anything gold, and you can drop it down. Correct goes right way. Wrong goes back to video 1. And then you've saved it. The 2 pieces of paper duplicates anything. If you want to duplicate a video slide, you can. If you want to preview it, you can. Let's go preview our video page. We have a video page and 3 choices. I didn't give him the 4th choice because it's our essay one. He's not going to get some back from the essay one. So, and if we're on the preview, we can go right back to edit. And then we're done. We have it all set up. Now, the thing about the essays is you have to grade them manually. You'll have to go in here and hit grade essays. And it will show you when they're here who did it, when it was done, and then there's a button here to grade it. And you can either download it or just grade it right there. So when you're in edit, so this is the collapsed view. If you wanted to see all the details to make sure you change the grades to exactly what you wanted for each point value, you can open it up. Question goes to Q1. Make sure they're going in the right places in case you've moved them. Yeah, this one's worth 5 points. I did it right. All right. Oh, I wanted to give this one 10 points. You can still get your gear here and go change it. Same thing here. Oh, this is 20. I wanted it to be worth 40. And then you wanted to add something to here and your finished page is here. You're all set. You're good. So now you've got it all done. There is nothing more you have to do. You don't have to hit save or anything. You can just go right back to the design time template. You're in it. Go back to and you're done. There's no saving. There's no exiting out of it. You are right back into, if your internet's faster than mine, maybe there. And you're all set up. And the cool part is there's no checkbox here. It says the system marks this item complete according to the conditions. And you're ready to roll. Alrighty. If there's anything else you need on this, feel free to send me an email or give me a call.